And we are live. Good evening, everyone. I know tonight is pretty late that we're doing a live stream, but Ethereum just set a new all-time high of $2,762. And in my opinion, I'm going to highlight tonight why Ethereum is massively undervalued. And the reason why I believe this is because of the fat protocol thesis or theory. When you refer to the fat protocol thesis, basically what we're referring to is capturing value, the protocol's ability to capture value. And when you look at the way that the internet is currently constructed, when you look at the World Wide Web, first we had the Web 1.0. That was basically static HTML sites that you basically only could read. You couldn't write to those sites. And then the Web 2.0 came along once JavaScript was able to be added to browsers. And what happened is that we have multiple protocols that basically facilitates communication over the internet, whether it's HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, TCP/IP. The problem is that those protocols, they had applications built on top of them, such as your web browser, and then e-commerce sites like an Amazon, or social media sites such as a Facebook or even Google. In those applications, they were able to capture the value. And what's going to happen with crypto and with the Web 3.0, it's actually going to be the inverse. You have base layer protocols like Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, and Avalanche, Solana, just to name a few. And those are the base layer protocols. And because you can actually invest in the actual token, it's going to allow you to be able to capture the value now, because see, you could not invest in these protocols to be able to capture the value, such as TCP/IP and HTTP and HTTPS. But now with crypto and the Web 3.0 and decentralization, you actually now have the ability to invest in these base layer protocols. Now, what's important about this is that when you look at an Aave or a Loopring or a Maker, these dApps, decentralized applications, they're going to be built on top of the Ethereum ecosystem, and they're going to go out here and actually build value. But here's the key. The more valuable that those applications become, because you need gas in order to do computation on the Ethereum network, that value is going to flow back to the actual protocol layer. And this is extremely important. And now when we start thinking about power, wealth, and influence, right now, I'm about to get into the articles in a second. Google and Facebook had blowout earnings. They were able to capture all of that value, all of that power, that wealth, and that influence, to the point where you have Twitter. They have the ability to deplatform your president. They control what you think. They control what you see. So being able now to capture that value, capture that power, capture that wealth, capture that influence in the base layer protocol in a decentralized way where you don't have any middlemen blocking that, that is extremely powerful. So when we start looking at Ethereum and we start just looking at how much adoption the network's getting, to the point where now we have 3 Canadian ETFs, gas fees are dramatically being reduced because of layer 2 scaling solutions such as ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, side chains. Many of you are aware of Matic. Matic is absolutely going bonkers right now, breaking all-time highs as well, because Matic is a layer 2 scaling solution. And I sit up here and I tell you guys this all the time. You can play with the Dogecoins, the Ripples, the Cum Rockets, and the Safe Moons. And yes, there is a project called Cum Rocket. But understand that Ethereum is doing this in a decentralized way. No tricks, no gimmicks, really bootstrapping a protocol. And that's extremely, it's important to see it, and it's beautiful to see it. And now when we start talking about the fat protocol, Ethereum's going to be that fat protocol that's going to capture all of that wealth. And it's already doing that right now. And with us moving to ETH 2.0 and proof of stake, now you actually own an asset that will allow you to get capital appreciation with the price going up, and then earn passive income as you sit back and you collect the transaction fees and the block rewards because you are a validator on the network. Now understand, as of today, right now, within the Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain and that ecosystem, there's over 125,000 validators. Now you have Cardano. They're supposed to be the Ethereum killer. They only have 1,400 validators. When you look at new addresses and unique addresses, right, or active addresses, Ethereum just broke above its previous all-time high. There's so much bullishness happening within the Ethereum ecosystem. And I say this all the time, whether it's NFTs, whether it's DeFi, stablecoins, borrowing, lending, insurance, when we start talking about DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, all of that's happening within the Ethereum ecosystem. Now, I'm not a blockchain maximalist. I understand that different blockchains will suit different use cases and utilities. So, for example, you have Cardano right now. They're doing some major work in Africa, and they just had a partnership with Ethiopia. And I think from a governance standpoint or an enterprise standpoint, I think that Cardano is going to be successful in that aspect. But this notion that they are an Ethereum killer is just factually incorrect. Right? Whether it's the validators on the network, whether it's the transactions happening on the network, literally, whether it's the innovation happening on the network, Cardano has to prove itself. They don't even have smart contract functionality yet. So when you hear these things, right, you have to just be mindful of what you're listening to. When you look at Bitcoin dominance is consistently dropping. When you look at the ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin, Ethereum is starting to gain on Bitcoin. Literally, just across the board, every metric that you can look at, Ethereum is just starting to progress, further along. When you look at the fact that Ethereum settled $1.5 trillion in a quarter, and PayPal didn't do $1 trillion in a year, that just goes to tell you where we're beginning to go with this. The fact that you have, banks starting to look at issuing bonds on top of Ethereum, whether it's Visa settling in USDC on top of the Ethereum network. I mean, all of the innovation in terms of what's going to happen is happening now, right? See, when you listen to people like Charles and Brad Garlinghouse and the Rippletards, they come to you with all of these conspiracy theories, right? That, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they're behind the scenes working with, Ripple Labs. I don't have to come to you with a conspiracy theory. I can factually prove these things to you, that gas fees are dropping, that Ethereum is transacting more revenue and volume than any other blockchain, right? I can prove these things to you. I can show you that Matic has more transactions happening on their blockchain than Ripple, Cardano, Polkadot combined, right? I don't have to sit up here and, hype you up and give you a conspiracy theory about us going to the gold standard and how proof of work doesn't work. I don't have to talk to you foolishly. I can talk to you factually. And as I said before, we're moving into the Web 3.0, where you are going to have more control of what's actually happening on the Internet of Things, or the Internet of Value, right? And this is really, really important because, again, as we get into this presentation, when you look at the structure of the Web 2.0, it really allowed these tech titans to become modern day monopolies, where they are able to capture all of the power, wealth, and influence. And what decentralization is allowing us to do is to take back some of that power, wealth, and influence. And when we start talking about the FAT protocol thesis, basically with Ethereum being that base layer and all of those applications being built on top of it, Maker, Loopring, Aave, it allows the value to flow back to the protocol, and you, the mechanism of being able to hold the token, it allows you to capture that power, wealth, and influence, where you could not do that with the way that the internet is structured. So please do me a favor as you come into the live stream. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe, make sure that you hit the notification bell and you set the notifications to all. Also, go into the description of this video and join my mailing list. Enter your name and your email so that you could be notified whenever I am going live. Also, if you want to dialogue with me, you can follow me on Instagram and shoot me a DM. If you are interested in learning about this technology, joining a vibrant community where I'm teaching you how to buy, how to sell, also showing you my portfolio, the things that I own. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't give you financial advice. But if you want to piggyback on the things that I'm owning, you have the ability to learn and see that by joining the academy. We have a vibrant community with the Slack group. Literally, it's worth thousands of dollars, but we have a free 3-day trial. You can test it out and see if you like it. As long as you cancel it within 3 days, you will not be charged or billed. And a link to join the academy will be in the description below. If you guys can see and hear me clearly, simply type 1 and then we can get started. Okay, I see some ones coming through. Okay. That's good. That's beautiful to see. So we're looking at this chart right here, right now. This is Ethereum, the Ethereum USD pair. Ethereum right now is sitting at $2,690. And I believe that this is Bitstamp. Right, depending on which exchange you look at, it will depend on the price fluctuation. I did see a few donations come through. Let me acknowledge those of you who donated. Mr. G, Eli, aka the Oracle, appreciate you, brother. No problem. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. And congratulations to all of you who snatched up VeChain, Matic, Cosmos, Ethereum, the Graph token, Chainlink, all of the projects that I've been talking about. A lot of you are performing really, really well. And it's beautiful to see. Inside of the academy, there is a link for you to give me some testimonials because I want to start redoing our homepage and highlighting some of you. Thank you for the donation, Ballhead Jamaican. Appreciate it. Me and you did a consultation a few days ago. How's everything going? So right now, this is Google, right? Google earnings smash sales records as digital ad market booms. This goes back to, again, like I was saying, when you look at the way that the Web 2.0 is currently structured, and remember, the Web 1.0 was basically just static HTML sites. All you could really do is just read the web page. But then JavaScript was added to the browser, and then it made web pages dynamic, where now we have the Web 2.0 where you can write to web pages. And now it allows anyone who has a phone, you can go out here and be a content creator and go out here and I'm looking for my phone. I can't find it. But you can now be a content creator and basically write to websites. But again, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, they're able to capture all of the wealth, power, and influence. And right here it says Alphabet reported first quarter sales of $55.31 billion, an increase of 34% a year earlier when advertising sales plunged as the coronavirus crippled the global economy. Profit more than doubled, with per share earnings far exceeding analyst expectations. The company posted a $31 billion in sales from its signature products, including Search, Gmail, and Maps, a 30% increase that reflected the way brands are spending to reach people online. YouTube pulled in $6 billion, increasing 49% from a year earlier. Total profit reached $18 billion, soaring 162% from the previous years. Google said it would repurchase an additional $50 billion in shares, fulfilling the wishes of investors who had been monitoring the company's swelling cash reserves. Literally, they are snatching up so much power, wealth, and influence. And again, this is why decentralization is important because, again, Facebook and Google, they control about 80% of the flow of traffic on the internet. So they control what you see, what you read, what you think, what you can't see, what you can't read, and what you can't think, and also what you can say. So this is one of the biggest innovations of crypto. And this is why I keep trying to tell you guys, this is so much bigger than Bitcoin. See, so many people get caught up in the idea of Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a store of value, but there's so many other use cases for this technology beyond just being a store of value and allowing us to remove middlemen like a Facebook or like a Amazon or a Google. Right here it says, Facebook's ad business drives surge in revenue following Google's act. Facebook Inc.'s booming advertising business drove revenue and profit sharply higher as the company pledged to navigate Apple Inc.'s new ad targeting rules and accelerate investments in e-commerce, mixed reality, and tools to help creators make money from their content. The social media giant on Wednesday said its first quarter earnings report reflected the past year's trend of people spending more time and money online and advertisers redirecting their resources to take advantage of that shift. The parent of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp said the average price per ad and the number of ads it delivered during the January through March period increased. Advertising revenue, which accounts for the lion's share of Facebook's total revenue, rose 46% from a year earlier to $25 billion. So this is important that you start understanding this because, again, we're talking about the Web 2.0 and we're looking at billions of dollars that will shift from legacy finance, legacy tech, and that will shift over to Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot. And this goes back to, again, the FAT protocol thesis. Again, when we shift to this Web 3.0, we're going to be able to capture so much value inside of these different protocols. So right here, we're looking at Bitcoin dominance. And as you can see right here, Bitcoin dominance is currently 48.9%. It's been consistently dropping over the past year. It peaked out here at 69%, right? So this is basically saying, looking at how much the market cap of Bitcoin and the amount of value tied up in Bitcoin. And now you're starting to see that that value is starting to evenly be distributed amongst other cryptocurrencies. And we're looking at Bitcoin dominance go from 69% all the way down now to, it says 50 here, but it's actually at 48%. And Ethereum has risen to 15%. This is important that you start understanding this. When you sit up here, right, and you look at the Ethereum BTC pair, right, this is important as well because now we're looking at the ratio of Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, and we're looking at Ethereum start to rise against Bitcoin. And I believe that we're going to get to the point of about, 0.1 as far as the ratio of Bitcoin to Ethereum. And if you want to know what this ratio is, it's basically just dividing the price of Ethereum by the price of Bitcoin. But we're starting to see Bitcoin dominance start to drop, and we're looking at Ethereum start to take market share from Bitcoin. And remember, when we had this recent pullback, Ethereum's price didn't crater and drop like Bitcoin's price did, right? When Bitcoin was dropping, Ethereum only went down to 2,300 when the rest of the market started to go down. So this is important that we start to understand this. When we look at right here, it says Ethereum settled $1.5 trillion in transactions in Q1 of 2021, right? That's more than its 7 previous quarters combined. $1.5 trillion in a quarter, right? It's important that we really, really keep these things in mind when we start looking at that, because when we compare it to PayPal, right, and we look at this right here, we look at the payment volume, PayPal is at $936 billion for the year, right? And Ethereum was able to do 1.5 trillion in a quarter. So we're starting to see acceleration now in terms of value being settled on the network. And again, we're talking about that protocol thesis, right? Value flowing to the base layer protocol. We're seeing all of the metrics being hit, and we haven't really even gotten into that parabolic phase that I've been talking about. When you look at crypto fees, right? We start looking about the amount of fees that's being generated on a daily basis. Ethereum is generating $19 billion per day in fees, right? That's more than double of what the Bitcoin network is. Double. When you come down here, you look at the Binance Smart Chain doing $192 million a day. So where's this Ethereum killer at, right? When you start thinking about, when you start listening to the things that people say, you start realizing that the things that they're saying doesn't line up with the actual numbers and the facts. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say. Oh, well, that's because gas fees are really, really high. No, remember, we just raised the gas limit to 15 million. So now look at the gas fees. Go on Uniswap right now or Balancer and go and do a transaction to see how cheap it is to do a transaction. That is not expensive to do a transaction anymore. Go and see that for yourself. So, no matter which metric you look at and how you start to shape this up, you start to see that. Now, this person said fees are the problem. Fees are not the problem because fees have dramatically come down. I just was able to go do a transaction for about $7 on Uniswap. So the gas fees right now are 69 gwei to get it done ASAP. Earlier, the fees were about 450 gwei, sometimes 500 gwei, right? So understand that the fees are starting to come down. Remember, you are an early adopter. The network should be slow. It should be expensive. Think about how much it cost you to use dial-up versus broadband. Go back and ask yourself when you used to have AOL and you used to have the disk that you had to put in there, how expensive it was to use the internet. Think about how expensive it was to use a cell phone back in the early 90s, and look how cheap it is to use a cell phone now, right? When you understand these things and you understand that technology will go through iterations and phases, this is why you're able to get massive gains. This is why you're able to get a 20 or 30x, because you're an early investor. You don't invest in something after they've solved the problem. You invest in something because you believe that the technology is unique and the problem will get solved. The gas fee problem has been solved and it will continue to keep getting solved. What I'm trying to show you is even with the fees being high, they're still generating $19 billion a day. So what does that tell you? That tells you that even with the fees being high, people still want to use the Ethereum network, even with high fees. They don't want to use the Binance Smart Chain. Now, where do I want to go with this? Why is the Binance Smart Chain gaining so much traffic? You know why? Why it's gaining so much traffic and it's starting to gain trajectory and pick up steam? Because they have garbage like SafeMoon on there. SafeMoon is on the Binance Smart Chain. So yes, it's easy to get a lot of transactions when fees are really, really cheap. See, low fees draws garbage like SafeMoon, right? It draws the casino crowd, the gambling crowd, the lottery ticket mentality, right? It doesn't draw real investors, right? So fees being high or having a barrier of entry actually stops garbage like SafeMoon from happening. So the reason why the Binance Smart Chain is starting to grow in popularity is because it's attracting the Wall Street Bets crowd. But when you look at the real data, they're not really generating a lot of fees. They're just not, right? $192 million is nothing big. Now, when we look at this, look what they're creating on the Binance Smart Chain. And you can see this contracts, Binance Smart Chain, come Rocket Crypto. So what CZ is trying to do, because CZ is the owner and creator of the Binance Exchange, and basically he's the brainchild behind the Binance Smart Chain, is he's trying to recreate the ICO mania of 2017 to the point where we're talking about Come Rocket. And I'm not being funny. This is a real cryptocurrency on the exchange called Come Rocket. So it's SafeMoon today. It's this different. These are the different projects that they're doing. And CZ is smart. He understands that many of you are degenerate gamblers, that you don't really understand investing. You don't understand the implications of this technology. So create this casino-like atmosphere and have you thinking that the Binance Smart Chain is competing with Ethereum when it's really not. And this is a fact. What's Come Rocket Crypto? It's a cryptocurrency that someone created on the Binance Smart Chain. And these will be the type of things that they will continue to keep creating on the Binance Smart Chain. So now I want to get into this article, and I'm going to share this with you guys so that you can read this later. So it says, zoom in a little bit. It says Ethereum gas limit hits 15 million as ETH price soars. The Ethereum gas limit sets a ceiling for how many operations can be included in each block. Let's move this ad. It says miners have raised Ethereum's gas limit to almost 15 million for the first time in a bid to relieve transaction congestion at a time when on-chain activity is increasing, with Ether's price up 2.8% on the day to $2,456. And this article is from April 22nd, so it's a little old. The Ethereum gas limit sets a ceiling for how many operations can be included in each block. Before the increase, miners set gas limit at 12.5 million until Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin suggests raising it last week on Reddit. In light of the recent code optimizations activated on the network, now that the chain is safer, we could increase the gas limit, which makes every application cheaper, Buterin said. What's gas? As explained by software developer Kevin Z in a blog post on the Ethereum Foundation's website, gas refers to the unit that measures the amount of computational effort required to execute specific operations on the Ethereum network. Gas is paid in Ethereum's native currency, Ether. Gas prices are denoted in Gwei, which itself is a denomination of ETH. Each Gwei is equal to 10 to the 9th power, right? So understand this. Let's take a step back here. What am I talking about? Because I know I just said a mouthful. Basically, you're competing for block space, right? There's a certain amount of transactions that can fit into each block. So obviously miners are going to try to put the transactions with the higher amount of fees because the miners want to get paid. Well, by increasing the block size, the gas limit, it increases the amount of transactions that basically you can add to each block. So again, gas fees are going down. As I've been saying before, we have layer 2 scaling solutions like Matic right now that's going to relieve congestion from layer 1. We have ZK rollups that's getting ready to roll out soon. We have optimistic rollups. We have side chains. Look at this. Right now, Matic has processed 26 million transactions today. 26 million transactions. No, overall 26 million transactions. For today, it's 1 million transactions. Let me correct myself. Think about that, right? That's extremely important. We've processed over 26 million transactions in total. Now, again, go look at Cardano. Go and look at Ripple. They're not processing nowhere near this level and magnitude of transactions. It's actually happening right now, right? So I don't have to sit up here and tell you about some conspiracy theory about the Rothschilds, about the Bilderbergs. They're going to get in behind Ripple. You know, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they're behind the scenes and they're only buying Bitcoin because they want to trick everyone from not getting Ripple. But once we get on the stable coin backed, a gold backed dollar, Ripple's going to go to $10. Like, you know, at a certain point, you just have to laugh at people when you see them like promoting this garbage, because if a project actually was successful, you would not have to go to these great lengths to do that, right? Like, utility should be that people want to use it, right? I shouldn't have to get Elon Musk or Donald Trump, you know, to promote my project, right? I shouldn't have to bribe people with the token to get them to want to use it. Like, Ripple has all of these partners, right? But they have to pay them with the XRP token, right? It's laughable. Right, you don't have to pay people with Ripple, with Ethereum. People just naturally want to use it because they see value in the ecosystem. These things matter. When you sit up here, right, and this is a Glassnode, they basically track so much data, and I would encourage a lot of you guys to go up here and sign up for it. When we look at the number of active addresses, we just topped out here. If we go, let's zoom into for the past month. We can see that we topped out at 701,794 new addresses. active addresses. That's powerful, right? So we're getting back to almost the high. Well, we basically broke the high back here of the ICO craze, right? Back here in the bubble of 2018, we're back there now. But look at this chart. You see here, we went parabolic in 2018 of active addresses. Now look, we took a stair step fashion up, right? We had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This is more of a healthy market that we're starting to see. We will get to the point where we will go parabolic. Why am I showing you all of this? I'm showing you that the Ethereum network is growing as it's supposed to grow, right? It's supposed to have its hiccups, but what you're starting to see is along the way, these problems are being solved with layer 2 scaling solutions by raising the gas limit, by transitioning over to Ethereum 2.0. Now, when we start thinking about this, why is this important? Because when we look at Ethereum right now, with the beacon chain with ETH 2.0, there's 125,000 validators right now. That is important when you start thinking about decentralization within the network, right? Validators are people who secure the network and they process transactions. Well, there's 125,000 validators right now on the Ethereum 2.0 chain right now. Now, I want you to think about this. Cardano is supposed to be an Ethereum killer. They only have 1,400 validators. And I know what you're going to say, oh, well, they have a different consensus mechanism. No, that's centralization, right? Now, over time, can the Cardano ecosystem grow? I'm not saying that it cannot grow, but they don't even have smart contract functionality yet. So when I start hearing these things, it's like, prove yourself first. I love competition. I'm an athlete. I played ball my whole life. I don't mind competing. That's a beautiful thing. But you have to actually be in the game to compete with someone. That's like me sitting up here saying that, I'm better than LeBron James because I'm sitting here watching him playing the NBA. And I'm sitting here on my couch watching an NBA player and saying, yeah, I'm better than him. No, Cardano has to get in the game to then say that they're better, right? Get in the game, get smart contract functionality, get some applications on your blockchain, get more validators within the network, right? So that you can then start getting involved in the fat protocol thesis and having value accrue back to the base layer. Just because something goes up in price doesn't necessarily mean that it's a competitor, right? Now, the Binance Smart Chain, you can look at that and you can say, well, what CZ is doing is competitive, but it's centralized. But what we're starting to see is many of you don't care about decentralization. You just want your bags to pump. I'm coming at this from more of a technology standpoint because I want to invest in things that will be here 3 years, 5 years from now. And when you look at something like Matic has massive utility for the Ethereum ecosystem because it will allow Ethereum to properly scale until we get to the Ethereum 2.0 release. And that's going to probably be another 2 to 2.5 years. So Matic has a tremendous amount of room to run. And remember, we haven't went parabolic yet. We still have time to go parabolic because, again, we're going to start to eat legacy finance and a lot of these legacy companies like the Facebooks of the world, like the Alphabets of the world, etc. And going back to the Binance Smart Chain, like I said before, when you sit back and you look at this, the reason why they have so many transactions happening in the ecosystem is because they have garbage like SafeMoon being promoted to the Wall Street Bets crowd and stuff like CumRocket. So now if you think that that's competitive, if you think CumRocket and SafeMoon is a competitor to an Aave, to a Loopring, to a Maker, to a Chainlink, then I don't really know what to tell you, to a Uniswap, to a Balancer. Then if you think that these type of, come and go, pun intended, projects is competitive, then I don't know what to tell you. And when we look at this stack right here, this tech stack, where this is what I'm talking about. Remember, when we're talking about the fat protocol thesis, the way that the internet's structured right now, the way the protocols are, they're thin protocols because the protocols were not able to capture the value. All of these protocols that you see here that basically make up the internet, TCP/IP and SMTP and HTTP, they facilitate communication and data being able to travel over the World Wide Web. But the application layer was able to capture all of that wealth: Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. When you look here at the Ethereum ecosystem, with Ethereum being the base layer protocol, and you have Maker and Compound, and you have the application layer, you have Chainlink and Algorand, Uniswap, all of these different protocols sitting on top of Ethereum sitting on top of the Ethereum protocol as they become more valuable, they need gas in order for them to have computation, right? So therefore, that's going to allow the value to flow back to the Ethereum base layer protocol. When we take a step back here and you look at the top 100, this is mind blowing. Ethereum right now has the ERC20 standard, right? That's basically any application that's built on top of Ethereum, they have the same interface, right? So Maker's an ERC20 token, Chainlink's an ERC20 token, Aave's an ERC20 token. The top 50 is basically there's 15 ERC20 projects, including Ethereum, within the top 50. And if you look at the top 100, there's anywhere from 25 to 33 ERC20 projects sitting within the top 100. That's dominance, right? That's a network effect. When you look at the fact that there's a $2 trillion market cap, the Ethereum ecosystem makes up anywhere from $415 to $500 million of the $2 trillion market cap. So 25% of the market cap, you could say roughly 20 to 25%, is the Ethereum ecosystem. That's dominance. That's a network effect, right? So when you hear people saying to you that, Cardano or Solana or Polkadot, they're somehow a competitor to Ethereum, yet they don't have nowhere near the ecosystem that Ethereum has. A third of the top 100 is ERC20 tokens. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's a network effect, right? And again, you need gas to power all of those applications. That value will flow back to the Ethereum ecosystem. So, you need to make sure that you're just keeping these things in mind. Now, this is why I'm so bullish on Ethereum, because what's starting to happen is that Ethereum, there's actually a shortage of Ethereum on exchanges, because what's happening is that people, they're actually buying their ETH and they're taking it off of the exchanges. So right here, this orange line is the reserves of Ethereum that's on exchanges. And you can see the reserves are going down, not up. And you can see the price of Ethereum constantly going up. So people are buying more ETH, right? There's more demand for Ethereum and there's not enough supply. How do markets operate? Supply and demand. The more supply, the less demand, price goes down. The less supply, the more demand, price goes up. So now you're starting to see that there's a supply shortage for Ethereum, which is only going to increase because as we move to proof of stake and people can passively earn money on their Ethereum, why would you sell your ETH when you could be a validator and passively earn fees? And then when we start talking about EIP 1559, where we're going to start burning supply, it's only going to make Ethereum much more valuable. And this is why I'm so bullish on Ethereum, because I just understand the way that markets are structured. And the last thing that I want to end with is that it says 3 Ether ETFs begin trading on the Toronto exchange. 3 Ether exchange traded funds began trading. Oh my God, hold on. Let's close this ad. I hate this. Began trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange on Tuesday. The ETFs are by Canada-based asset managers, Purpose Investment, CI Global Asset Management, and Evolve Funds Group. The 3 firms received the green light from the Ontario Securities Commission last week. The move follows shortly after the regulator approved the world's first Bitcoin ETF by the 3 firms earlier this year. Why is this important? Because guess what? The ETF, in order for you to be able to go and buy the ETF, they have to actually go out here and secure and buy ETH and hold it. Again, taking more supply out of the marketplace. So when you start understanding this, when you combine all of the things that I was just talking to you about the fat protocol thesis, about the network effect, about the fact that a third of the top 100 coins are ERC20 tokens, basically applications or Ethereum. That's extremely, extremely important. The fact that the Ethereum ecosystem makes up anywhere from $415 to $500 million of the $2 trillion market cap. that's extremely powerful. The fact that gas fees are starting to dramatically be reduced because of layer 2 scaling solutions, and it's only going to get better as we continue to go further along. The fact that right now Ethereum has settled $1.5 trillion in a quarter is extremely powerful when PayPal didn't do $1 trillion in a year, right? So we're so early, and I keep trying to tell you this, that there will be other blockchains. I'm not going to sit up here and say that Ethereum is going to be the only smart contract platform. Those of you who follow me, you know that I'm a big bull with the Polkadot ecosystem, and I believe allowing blockchains to be able to talk to each other is going to be extremely powerful. That whole idea of interoperability and composability will be really, really big. But right now, it's Ethereum's game, and we're winning. I've been in Ethereum since $40. I've been telling you guys about Ethereum on this channel since it was $100. And if you don't believe me, you can go to my community tab and verify this, that I've been sitting up here talking to you about this. And you know what we're talking about now, 27x on your money. You know, it doesn't get any better than this. And I don't sit up here saying that I am a genius. I don't sit up here and say to you that I'm a know-it-all, that I know everything, but I know what I do know. And I don't like to deal in conspiracy theory. I mean, I like to, you know, we can get into the matrix and stuff like that, like we always do. But I like to really keep things factual when we're talking about money. For those of you who've been following me, especially those of you in the academy, and you've been following along with my picks and things of that nature, many of you are doing well because I focus on things that I can prove, right? I cannot prove that Elon Musk and Donald Trump is working with Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple. I cannot prove that we're going to have a gold-backed stablecoin and that Ripple is going to facilitate that, and that Ripple is going to be adopted by the central banks, right? I cannot prove that. What I can prove is the fact that Ethereum is dominating in every metric that you can possibly think of. And that's what you want to see. And this is why, again, I'm extremely bullish on Ethereum. And I believe that we're going to definitely surpass $5,000 by the end of this year. And if we get to that bull phase, we can get to about a $10,000 Ethereum. And Ethereum will flip Bitcoin in market cap terms, right? So when I talk about flipping Bitcoin, I don't mean in price. I mean in market cap. Right now, the Ethereum market cap is $313 billion. And Bitcoin's a $1 trillion market cap. I believe that you're going to see Ethereum flip Bitcoin. Case in point, Elon Musk already started selling his Bitcoin position. He sold 10% of his Bitcoin. Now, his excuse for selling his Bitcoin was that he wanted to test the liquidity. But when he purchased $1 billion plus of it, he tested the liquidity, right? So this idea that you need to sell 10% to test it as a currency is BS. See, understand that Elon Musk is very deceptive. I would never trust a billionaire. He's part of this whole idea of the Great Reset. And watching what he's doing with Dogecoin, I would never trust anything that comes out of Elon Musk's mouth. You don't need to sell 10% of your position to test the liquidity. You tested the liquidity when you was able to go out here and buy $1 billion plus worth of Bitcoin. So if you believe that, then, you know, the tooth fairy is real and Santa Claus is going to buy you, bring you a nice gift and not a lump of coal, if you believe that, right? So when we start thinking about all of these different things, he said Tesla sold his BTC, not him. Well, isn't he the CEO? Doesn't he have say? Right? If Tesla bought the Bitcoin, they brought $1 billion worth, then he has say about it being sold, right? Do you believe that anything happens in Tesla without his say? Come on, let's be realistic, right? So when I sit up here and I say that he sold, I'm basically saying I'm talking about the company Tesla, because the company Tesla is the corporation that purchased it, and they're the corporation that sold it, right? So like if you sell 10% of it, you sold it because you wanted to lock in some profit. That doesn't tell me that you have strong hands. And I see as a world where you're going to see Michael Saylor and other individuals eventually, as Bitcoin starts to appreciate, start to take some profit. Now, that's not saying that I'm bearish on Bitcoin in any way. I believe that Bitcoin will get to at least $3 to $4 trillion market cap, but Ethereum will flip Bitcoin because Ethereum just has so much more utility. And then the fact of, again, when we're moving to EIP 1559 and we're going to start burning supply, is just going to make Ethereum ultrasound money. So that's where I stand right now with Ethereum. I am extremely bullish on it. Now, what does this mean for you? Many of you who are new, should you go all in on Ethereum? Absolutely not. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Because there are other smart contract platforms that are undervalued, like Harmony, right? Harmony is a project that I'm looking at. I'm really, really interested in that particular project. The Avalanche project is a solid project as well. And these are projects that have lower market caps. So let's go down here and find Avalanche. Where's Avalanche at? Avalanche is only worth $3 billion. Now, we have to start putting on our thinking caps here. Why is the market cap important? Because it tells you how much money has to flow into a project in order for it to double and do well. So when we start looking at Avalanche being a $3 billion project, and we look at something like, let's say, a Cardano being worth $42 billion and Polkadot being worth 31, right? If Avalanche can get to 15 billion, that's a 5x. I believe they can do that, right? So you should be looking to invest in smart contract platforms or layer or base layer protocols that can be built upon that have lower market caps, like a Solana. Where's Solana at? I think Solana was like top 14. We go like $11 billion. Why? Because these projects will pump more than Ethereum. They will give you a better risk to reward ratio. We are extremely early. We are in the internet back in 1995 in terms of infrastructure and what this technology can do and where we're going to go. So when you're talking about allocating your capital, you have to start thinking about allocating your capital in a way where I'm investing in solid projects, but they have lower market caps, that if Bitcoin continues to appreciate and Ethereum continues to appreciate, it will lift up my projects. This goes back now to Cardano. I really like what I'm seeing with Cardano in terms of what they're doing with Ethiopia. And this is why I don't view Cardano as a competitor to Ethereum. I view Cardano as being more of a centralized slash decentralized blockchain where they're going to blur that line. And I look at them as doing more business with governments and enterprise, like actual companies. So I think that that's going to be Cardano's niche. And I think that that's Cardano's game to win and lose. I think that Charles has a different vision as to where he wants to go with the project. And I think that they can be successful that way. So, as I continue to go further along, I always tell you this, I believe that different blockchains are better for different things. I think that Ethereum is going to master the finance aspect, right? That whole idea of decentralized finance, fintech, that's Ethereum's game. The idea of a governance layer, the idea of partnering with governments, identity on a blockchain. When you start thinking about enterprise, I think that that's where Cardano is going to be. I think that Polkadot's going to be the bridge that allows different blockchains to talk to each other, and it's going to have value as well. Composability and interoperability is the word that you can use for a Polkadot, and even a Cosmos and Atom, another project that I'm really big on. I think that that's going to be really, really big, and this is why you're starting to see that I'm transitioning more from these smart contract platforms because I've already captured so much value for myself personally, and I'm starting to focus more on infrastructure and data because I just think that that's going to be the next frontier when we start talking about blockchains. So with that being said, I saw a few donations come through. We need to start calling you the crypto sensei. Keep teaching, brother. Representing black men to the highest level. Thank you. I appreciate it, Black and Yellow. I think that you messaged me on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, about doing an interview. I will be getting back to you in the coming days, if my memory serves me correctly. Fantasy Hustlers, if you invest in CumRocket, you will be broke with no money in your pocket. Well, you got to think about it, Fantasy Hustlers. What you have to understand is that a lot of people, they don't have a lot of money, right? They have a couple $100, $500. So to them, they're treating this like a lottery ticket mentality, right? And I understand it. You get Dogecoin at 3 cents, it goes up to 31 cents. You turn $500 to 5,000. So I understand why people are participating in it. I don't make these videos for those of you who are, no disrespect, poor or, not in a great financial space. I make these videos for those of you who are in a decent space financially and you have, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 or better that you're looking to invest. And so that you don't end up making the mistake that a lot of people did with BitConnect. You know, some people went out and mortgaged their homes. They took out a second mortgage on their home. They maxed out their credit cards. They maxed out their savings. And, you know, pump and dumps, the way that they operate is that, I say this time and time again, they can't take your money right away, right? They have to make you a little bit of money to sucker you in. And then eventually they sucker you into the point where you go and you start betting real big. And that's when you lose money, right? So I do this to bring you guys back to reality because, again, you can buy solid projects like Matic, VeChain, and Ethereum. You're getting capital appreciation. If you invest in these projects back when I first started talking about them, you're doing 10x, 20x, in some cases 30 extra money. Excuse me. Now you can actually stake your tokens and earn passive income. So you never have to sell your Matic. You never have to sell your VeChain. You never have to sell your ETH. You can just live off of the interest that you're generating off of your projects. That's how you build wealth over time, right? I can't teach you how to duplicate Chase Income Rocket and SafeMoon. What I can do is I can teach you how to find solid projects, invest in solid projects, let them appreciate in value, get that capital appreciation, and live off of the passive income. That's extremely duplicatable. Chainlink is moving to a staking mechanism as well. Again, showing you how you can buy solid projects, stake them, and live off of the stakes is what you should be doing. What do you think about the Energy Web token, Eli? I've been listening to you for over a year. Not sure if you heard you touch on this. Thanks for all of the knowledge, Zada. I don't know anything about the Energy Web token whatsoever. I have not looked into that project. Guys, I have a whole list of projects that you've given me, and I promise you when I get a chance, I'll start getting into those projects. Just haven't had a chance to. Honestly, I am overwhelmed with the academy and this new coding bootcamp that I'm putting together. I have people going through the coding bootcamp right now, testing it out. So there's some videos that I had to swap out, put back in. This is going to be my best course that I put together. I'm really, really excited about it and proud about it. This is going to be a 36-week course, right? This is going to be big. This is going to be longer than a year. Longer than a half of a year. This course that I'm putting together, like this is going to be something really, really big because I just think that this is the route that we need to go. So I've been grossly focused on that right now, and that's really been my whole focus is just getting that perfect. Because the first one, many of you were struggling with it, right? So I wanted to get this one extremely perfect. And I think that covers all of the donations right there. Yeah, that covers all of the donations. I like Bondly. I think Bondly is going to be a solid project. The reason why Bondly is going to be solid is because, again, they're compatible with the Cardano ecosystem. And I just think that you want to have some type of exposure to the Cardano ecosystem because the XRP tards and the Dogecoin idiots, they're going to eventually want to come over there and shill Cardano. So having some exposure to the Cardano ecosystem is just smart, right? So, and I think that, Cardano is going to be starved for dApps, and Bondly being compatible with them is a no-brainer. AGI as well, Singularity Net, they're transitioning a portion of their supply over to the Cardano ecosystem. Again, having some exposure to that ecosystem just makes sense because people are always looking for the next best thing, and I think that that's what's going to happen when you start thinking about Cardano and what they're trying to do. No, the DeFi course is not fully released. The DeFi course, now that gas fees have finally come down, I can start putting together more content. But again, the DeFi course is really just about staking, right? And I covered how you can stake with Aave. So, at this point, if you know how to stake on Aave and Fulcrum, then you can stake anywhere. I was going to get into some like liquidity mining and stuff like that. But for the most part, the DeFi course is really just about using DeFi protocols to basically stake, lend out your crypto, borrow against your crypto, etc. So the first video is more than enough to pique your interest if you want to, go from there. 100%. I want to say Irishman 34. Um, you can what's the name? What's going to happen right now? You're already seeing it. Is that as the Ethereum miners, they get to the point where they're going to be compromised in terms of them being able to earn rewards because there will be less rewards and then once we move the proof of stake, this is why you're starting to see Ethereum Classic start to pump because Ethereum Classic is still proof of work. And you're basically going to see a lot of miners go from the Ethereum chain over to the Ethereum Classic chain. Absolutely. So you may want to get some exposure to the Ethereum Classic chain. Let's pull it up and see right now how they've been doing. Trading view. Yeah, you can see, look at this. It pumped hard, right? It went from, in the month of April, we went from $13. It pumped all the way up to what, $50? I don't know anything about Sidecoin, but Filecoin is grossly overvalued, and I don't really just see the real utility for Filecoin. When you look at Filecoin, it's just, again, let's pull it up. Boom, 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 boom. Where is it at? Filecoin is grossly overvalued, though. At a $10 billion valuation, grossly overvalued. I think as this more supply comes into the marketplace, this is going to go lower. In my personal opinion, I don't think that it's worth $10 billion. So that's where I still in Filecoin. I don't believe that the utility is that needed that it needs to be worth $10 billion, in my opinion. But I don't know anything about Sidecoin. Mr. G said never sell your BTC. Well, Elon Musk didn't follow it. FYF Life says my cousins got scammed by their cousin on the BitConnect joint, lost major money. Yeah. Again, I make these videos to warn you that, you don't know what you don't know until it happens. And experience is one of the worst teachers. People say experience is the best teacher. It's actually not. Sometimes, you can learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't have to make them. Right? Right. That's the beautiful thing. Learn from others' mistakes so that you don't have to make all of the mistakes. And I know how I participated in pump and dump, so I understand how they work. Right? They're designed to do that. They're designed to make you think that you're going to build wealth by just following this person. And these people are not doing any research. When you see things like Come Rock, you're like, come on, this is a joke. Safe Moon, right? They're going to get you to the moon safely. And I saw the guy, and I said this on my Instagram live that I did. I don't know the guy, Brother Ben X. I don't know anything about him. I've never interacted with him. Not saying he's a scammer. He's one of those people who he strikes me as a, just a guy trying to make a buck. But you have to be careful with who you listen to, who you allow to come into, your thought process and your psyche. What does he know about game theory, cryptography, distributed systems? Absolutely nothing. So why would I listen to a person who doesn't know anything about this technology in a deeper way, right? Like he's promoting SafeMoon, or to even, I wouldn't say he's promoting it, to even talk about SafeMoon in a serious way. I have to now look at you with a side eye. I just have to, because that tells me that your acumen, right, and your thought process is severely compromised. So you have to be careful. And I said this, you're going to get a lot of these Hotep Back to Africa, Red, Black, and Green B1s who are going to get involved in crypto, and they're going to try to position themselves like they are an authority in this space, that they're a thought leader. It's easy to parrot and repeat what Brad Garlinghouse tells you, right, the CEO of Ripple, right? It's easy to repeat that, right? But how do you know that they're fast and cheap, right? How do you know that Ripple is going to represent all stable coins backed by $1 because of the Great Reset? How do you know this? How do you know that Elon Musk and the Rothschilds and all of these people, like, they're behind Ripple, behind it? How do you know these things, right? You know, you get a lot of people who they repeat things and they say things, but, you know, MoneyGram stated that in most cases it was cheaper for them to use their existing infrastructure and products than to use the ODL product. And then Ripple said, remember, this is not me making this up. This is the SEC actually subpoenaing and having emails between the executives and CEOs and the executive branch of the company, Ripple Labs, saying that they just wasn't using the product correctly. Right? This is factual stuff. Right? This is not me making things up. Right? This is factual. Like, factual that Ripple Labs controls a large supply of the token. They're going out and they're brokering deals with other entities. So they know that this new partnership that we have is going to pump the price. And they're, quote unquote, allegedly paying certain exchanges to push the price up or hold the price above a certain price to then sucker you to get in. And then as soon as the announcements come out, they start dumping the token on you. This is not an opinion, right? This is what the SEC is alleging. And the SEC has actual emails, text messages, documentation. Brad Garlinghouse sold billions of dollars worth of the token. He dumped on you. He's on CNBC. He's telling you, think about it. This is why I say you have to be a Ripple-tard, because he's on CNBC and he's telling you that this project is so great. Right? For you conspiracy theorists, right? They're going to have all of these partnerships. It's going to be a stable coin backed by gold. So then why is the CEO dumping billions of dollars for the token on you? Why is it that him and his wife, they're dumping billions of dollars worth of tokens on you? If you had all of this utility and all of these partnerships and the token was going to pump, why would you sell? Come on. You have to use your brain when you say things. Like, these things don't make sense, right? They don't make any sense. Just doesn't. But again, you got to be careful just who you listen to. Like I said before, I saw this video of Phil Valentine, and it's like, out of all of them, there's something known as opportunity cost, right? The opportunity cost is basically, I have $1. Where would that dollar better serve me in terms of an ROI? Do I put it in something that's having an SEC investigation that Ripple very well could win the SEC investigation, but they're going to have so much volatility in price? Or can I put my money in something like Matic that has no investigation, real utility, real transactions happening? I can stake it and earn passive income. I can double, triple, quadruple my money the same way. Which one makes more sense? But again, when you listen to these things and you hear people speak and talk, you just say to yourself, for lack of a better word, some people just don't know what they don't know, man. And that's a reality. You just got to be careful of what you listen to and who you listen to. And if you decide to play in a Safe Moon, a Cum Rocket, a Ripple, a Dogecoin, know that you're diving in the dumpster and put money in it that you can afford to lose. JS says, Jay-Z said, I've been through that, so you won't have to go through that. Trust other people's mistakes can be a lesson for you. You don't have to see how hot the stove is for yourself. Exactly. You just don't. And with crypto, we're so early. Like, you got to really think about it. The stock market's worth $100 trillion. Crypto's worth $2. And I believe that we're going to tap $5 to $6 trillion before this bull cycle's over. So what is that going to do to the price? Dogecoin can keep pumping from here. Very well could hit $1. If Dogecoin hits $1, what do you think Chainlink's going to hit? What do you think VeChain will do? What do you think Solana will do? Theta, another solid project. Monero to me is more of just a utility coin. It's not something I would invest in. What's another solid project? Aave, Cosmos, BitTorrent, Maker, Polygon. You don't think that those projects are going to pump? Come on. We hit a $6 trillion market cap. What do you think is going to happen to these projects? They're going to pump. Look at my baby Polygon. Matic has just been on a roll, man. Just a monster roll. You don't have to you don't have to go dive in the dumpster to make good money, man. You just don't. That's my opinion. What happens to layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum when ETH 2.0 comes out? Ethereum 2.0 is still going to need layer 2 scaling solutions. Guys, if you're going to try to be the supercomputer of the world, you're going to need way more throughput than just sharding your chain. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of transactions that you're going to need to process. So the layer 2 scaling solutions are definitely going to be needed for the foreseeable future, because once ETH 2.0 launches, it's not going to be right out the box. Everything is just going to be working perfectly. Now, will we get to a point where they can start fragmenting liquidity, where it can start actually, competing with the Ethereum chain? Possibly. Could the Ethereum chain get to the point where you don't need those layer 2 scaling solutions? Absolutely. But then here's what we have to think about. By then, you should have been already captured most of the value needed to capture. Could they start becoming multi-chain, right? Could we get to a point where Matic can then start, not just being compatible with the Ethereum blockchain, but being compatible with Solana, being compatible with Polkadot? We don't know, right? This is the whole point of technology. Technology is designed to go through different iterations. So right now, you need it for layer 2 scaling solutions. When Ethereum rolls out ETH 2.0, I don't believe that right out the box is going to be able to do hundreds of thousands of transactions. So you're still going to need scaling solutions as well. So that's where I stand with that. But I share your sentiment, Iceman Vamp. Could it possibly become a problem where like it starts to cannibalize each other? Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at that, Earl Edney. A lot of you keep asking about OXT Orchid. I haven't had a chance to look at it. Again, I know a lot of you donate, and please don't take what I'm saying the wrong way, but I like to talk about the things that I know about, right? So Aave, Loopring, Maker, Uniswap, Balancer, Ocean Protocol, Cosmos, Polkadot. If you notice, I mainly focus and stick to my realm, and share my thoughts on the things that I know and I understand. Binance Smart Chain, Cardano, things of that nature, Bitcoin. So sometimes, like when you donate to me, I don't want to, keep taking your money, but it's like a lot of these projects, I don't have the time. There's over 8,000 different cryptocurrencies. I have consultations that I have to do every day. I have people who are investing money with me that I have to tend to them. I then have to do research on the projects that I own. I have to then stay up to date. So it gets to the point where it's like, in order for me to be able to give you a quality, informed opinion, I would have to really sit down and really go through the technology. And I just don't honestly have the time to do that. So when I get the time, I will get to I have a list of projects that you guys told me about, but I mind the business that pays me. So going forward with your donations, sometimes you may want to hold back on your donations, asking me about particular projects, because I'm not going to be able to give you an informed opinion. Again, like I said before, I like to focus on projects that make me money. And that's just where I've been putting my focus at. So sorry about that, Earl Edney, and those of you who donated before. How long do you think this bull market will last? Also, the next bear market should be interesting. Yes, I believe that this bull market is probably going to go to about the third quarter of 2022. Just looking at the economy and the way that things are structured right now, we have to look at the macro theme. You have the Federal Reserve pumping trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars into the economy. Interest rates, today the Fed came out and said interest rates are going to remain unchanged, basically at 0%. Understanding that we have the Democrats in charge, we're going to have some type of a universal basic income, because the Great Reset is moving everything digital. So most of these jobs just are not coming back. The microchip is going to take many of your jobs. So we're going to have some type of a universal basic income. This goes back to, more money, more stimulus being in the economy. They're already talking about another stimulus package, like $1.8 to $2.9 trillion, an infrastructure package that's going to be about $3 trillion. With all of that being said, in the economy reopening, I can see this bull market going easily for another year to a year and a half. So I believe that now along the way, over this year to a year and a half. Will we have pullbacks? Will we have corrections? Absolutely. I still think that we need about a 30% pullback in the market to wipe out the dumb money from Ripple, Dogecoin, and some of these other projects. We just need to smack them around a little bit to put some fear back in the market. That's just the reality. So I think that we need about like a 30% correction. Market's doing really, really well. Remember, you should not fear corrections. You should embrace them. You buy on red, you sell on green. You should be dollar cost averaging. Whenever you do a 3, 4, 5, 6x in a project, you should be looking to sell a third or a half of that project, depending on how much money you have invested, right? We're talking about portfolios here now, right? We're not talking about you only have $500 invested and you don't want to sell anything. I'm talking about if you have a portfolio of 5 to 10 projects, you should be looking to rotate out of projects into stable coins and looking to rotate into different segments in the crypto sector that may be undervalued. Again, that's just my personal opinion, not financial advice, just for educational purposes only. Ronald Hazley says, what do you suggest to invest in as of now? Sorry, I'm late. I can't give you financial advice. What I would say to you is that I'm focused heavily on infrastructure. That's mean focusing on data protocols and things that facilitates interoperability, allowing blockchains to talk to each other and being able to facilitate data transfers is what I can tell you. If you want a more detailed answer, join the academy and we talk about all of the different things that I'm rotating into right now, the particular projects. So, and for those of you who are looking to join the academy, there's a link in the description below. Right here, this is the actual website. We have a free 3-day trial. Come into the Slack group where we can share information and bounce ideas off of each other. The Slack group is just an invaluable tool and resource. There's so many knowledgeable people in there that have different philosophies, different opinions, and different viewpoints. You have people like Zero Cool. He's into the Cardano and Polkadot ecosystem. I'm more into the Ethereum ecosystem. You have people like Mr. G, who's, he's Mr. Bitcoin. You have people like Jet and Mark. They're looking at constantly new projects that are ICOing. You got people like Great Filibuster. He's into trading crypto. Like literally, there's so many different people that have so many different perspectives. And that's one of the beautiful things about joining a community. But we're extremely early. When we talk about crypto. And with that being said, guys, we're coming up on an hour and 12 minutes. I'm not going to go too long. I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, to sum everything up, Ethereum is capturing the network effect. Ethereum is, if you look at the Fat Protocol thesis and you believe that the value is going to flow to the protocol, the more valuable that the dApps running on top of Ethereum become, such as Aave, Loopring, Maker, Synthetics. As they become more valuable, that value is going to actually flow to the base layer protocol. And the reason why is because you actually have a mechanism now where you can actually hold that base layer token. And this is what I'm talking about here, this ecosystem. And obviously this image is like 2 years old. But again, Ethereum being the base layer, all of this value that's accruing, remember, you need gas in order to facilitate the computation within that network. All that value is going to flow back to Ethereum. When you look at all of the protocols that facilitates, data transfer and communication with the internet, those are thin protocols because they cannot capture the actual value. The application layer was able to capture all of the value, which is your web browser. And when you look at Facebook and Amazon and Netflix and Google, they were able to capture the power, wealth, and influence. And that was the Web 2.0. As we make this shift to the Web 3.0, this is now where we're going to start to see protocols capture a lot of this wealth. And as I said before, whether it's Cardano, whether it's Avalanche, whether it's Polkadot, I believe that all of these blockchains, especially these base layer smart contract platforms, where you can build things on top of it, I think that they're going to just do really, really well with this idea of the Web 3.0. And this is why I'm so bullish on investing into these particular projects. Many of you right now are talking about Matic. Congratulations to those of you who got involved in Matic and VeChain. I'm going to post a link. If you can give me a testimonial, that would be really, really great. I'll post that inside of the community tab in YouTube tomorrow. If you're in the academy, there is a link that I would like for you guys to go there and give me a 15-second to 30-second testimonial just talking about what you've learned, what's been your experience, and how you've been able to manage. Um, with that being said, Rhino Hazy said, "Thank you. Got into Matic and done my research. Good, happy for that." With that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Don't want to go too long. I want to give you enough information that you can digest. Have a blessed and beautiful day. Please like, share, subscribe, join my mailing list, hit my Instagram, follow me, and also if you want to get involved in the academy, free 3-day trial, get involved in a vibrant community full of other knowledgeable people, and you can also learn a lot about the technology. Have a blessed and beautiful night.